Hello and welcome, it's Matt Finnegan here and you're watching another Soccer Insight betting preview brought to you by betting-insight.com. This game we're going to cover the Man City versus Everton, the lunchtime game on Saturday, but before I get into that I just want to plug our YouTube channel. If you like what we're doing here, please do give us the thumbs up and also support the channel by subscribing. If we can get to 100 subscribers, then we can actually do live broadcasts, and it's something that we want to do on a Saturday morning because these are recorded way in advance to get the graphics built and sort of brought to you, ahead of the weekend in good time. But the markets are subject to change after the recording, so we would love to bring a live broadcast. So if you give us the thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, that will make that happen. Once we get 100 people, then we can actually broadcast live via YouTube. Anyway, let's have a look at the lunchtime game and the OP index. Man City, well, they're 1.65 on our tissue. Everton 6.45. The draw 4.2. Well, City was disappointing to say the least last week away at the Aston Villa, and they will need to really sort of bounce back against an Everton side that are so far unbeaten. 3 wins on the bounce. They're very impressive in the Monday night game. Certainly the first half there was impressive against Newcastle. So it's a could be a tough call. 1.65 might be a little bit short for some people, given Everton's current form. So let's have a look at the head-to-head over the last 7 seasons. And surprisingly, Everton had the lion's share of victories at the Etihad. 4 victories, Man City just winning twice, the draw once. I think part of that is in the shift in the balance of power. A lot of those victories would have been prior to the masses of money that sort of came into Man City, but nevertheless, they do have a good record, and you may want to put that into your thought process going into the match this weekend. Let's have a look at the early sort of prices on Betfair. Now, this was taken as a snapshot. This was taken on Wednesday. I'm recording this preview on the Wednesday, so a lot can happen in there. Prices are subject to change as we go through this preview. You can see Man City right bang on our index price at 165. That could go either way at the moment, and if you're watching this at the weekend, you're going to have a snapshot back in time of where the market has sort of come from to where it is now. So I do recommend that you check that. You can see that Everton around 6.2, so pretty much the prices are on our tissue sort of price, but I do think there will be some movement in that. But based on what we've got in the markets recording at the moment, at the time of recording, is let's have a look at the options if you feel City will get a result or even win the game. Well, Man City are just fair value in our books. But some bookmakers are below 160, some are around the Betfair price, etc. So if you do see that come sort of Saturday or Friday evening when you're looking at your bets, then and you feel City will win, then you're getting fair value for that to actually happen, and you may want to sort of take that price. One way you could sort of ramp that price up is having a look at them winning in 60 minutes. We sort of recommended this in the Monday night game in the video preview there against Everton versus Newcastle, the price ramping in that 60 minutes, that would have come to fruition, and this could be a good option. You will ramp that up, but you should be able to get around 10 to 11 on that sort of tissue there if you feel Man City are most likely going to be leading the game in that first 60 minutes. And finally, Dutch in the winning margin option, and you should get around 23.20 in old money, 2.15 at the best prices. I'll cover, as always, the winning margins options later in this preview, but you should get that for Man City. So if you do think they will win the game, then they're probably going to be your best options in the market. If you don't want to take what's on offer in the match odds, you can ramp that up and you're going to slightly get a little bit better than evens or just slightly less on either one of those outcomes. Let's flip the coin. Let's have a look at Everton win or result option 1. They're a little bit shorter, and they're certainly shorter with the bookmakers at the moment. They seem to put their margin in Everton's price. Okay, so they're not really offering any sort of value. What you will actually sort of need there, you'd need City to harden, you'd need City to shorten from where they are now, for the Everton price to come out. So if you're waiting for that Everton price, waiting for a bit of value, who knows where the market's going to go, but at the moment when recording this, they're not really sort of value. But you can sort of use our tissue price and sort of gauge where you could be in other markets. And the Asian handicap, you should be looking for 5 to 6, 1.83 on Everton plus 1 goal. Now you're going to get your stake back if Everton lose by 1 goal, but you've got the draw and you've got obviously Everton to win. So that's a good option is that if they're likely to lose the game, you're asking the question, are they going to lose by more than 1 goal? And if the answer is no, then that's not a bad option to take in the Asian handicap if you feel that they could get a result from this. But if they lose by 1 goal, you get your stake back. So basically it's 2 goal loss for you to use. So that's not a bad option on the Asian handicaps. If you're going to play in the double chance, which is effectively laying Man City on the betting exchanges, you're going to need around about 6 to 4, 2.5. That's not a bad option as well if you think that they're going to come away with at least a point. That's the price that you're going to be looking at for Everton. Well, we'll go through the winning margins, and you can see there in the winning margins that you're not going to get anywhere near the tissue Dutch in Everton to win by 1 or 2 goals. Again, you're going to need to take the winning margin 13 to 2, 7.5 on a 1 goal margin. And again, if you think that they're going to win the game, are they going to beat Man City by 2 goals? And probably the chances is unlikely, and that's an option if you want to be brave and ramp those prices up there. City, as you can see, Dutch in 1, 2 and 3, they're just a little bit better than the actual sort of match odds. Again, Everton, you can't see them losing by 4 or more goals. So again, if City shorten, you've got that option there, but the winning margins will most likely shorten as well. Dutch in 2.16, 1-2, that looks a viable option. We've already sort of covered that as well. So plenty of options there in the winning margin. Like say Everton, if you feel that strongly that they're going to win, it's probably just going to take that 1 goal winning margin, ramp that price up to 13 to 2, 7.5. On to the unders and overs. Now looking at the main market, that's pretty much bang in line with our sort of index prices. Obviously the bookmakers have got sort of tight margins. These are the best prices that we've seen on the Wednesday recording this, and so it's right bang there on our sort of tissue. Overs pretty much again 1.5 goals, pretty much on our sort of tissue. A little bit of value in the actual sort of unders 3.5 and 4.5, and you would probably sort of expect that. So I think 1.44, taking that, if you wanted to take a short price like that, I can't see there being 4 goals in the game myself. So there's a little bit of value there. If you want to play in the 2.5 goals market, I wouldn't put you off taking 11 to 10, 2.1 on that market as well. I mean, it's a fair sort of value. Remember that on the unders, the market is moving in your favour, and some of your thought process with backing unders is that you sort of saying that you can't see 2 goals happening before half time, because basically if there isn't any goals, then you're in a position of strength to sort of manage liabilities and manage your risk. It's going to take you 2 goals to get yourself in a negative sort of outcome on the actual unders, so just bear that in mind if you're going to play the unders. And let's have a look finally at some of those in-play stats from OP. Well, if the match is 0-0 at 25 minutes, there's just a 38.2% chance of a goal before half time. Now, again, if you're playing the unders, that's an important stat that it's well over 60% chance that's not. So 25 minutes, the game's settled into a rhythm. Chances are that either team very, very sort of not cautious, but nullifying each other out. That's generally, when these sort of two types of matchups, class of teams match up in the past, that's what it's produced. So if it's 0-0 at half time, it may have sort of bearing on your thinking. But the flip side of that is there is a 79% chance of a goal being scored between 25 and 70 minutes. Okay, and that's all games. What that sort of says to me is that if there is a goal prior to 25 minutes, it really opens up the game, and it's highly likely more goals will flow. So if there is a goal in that first 25 minutes, you might want to sort of keep that stat that's like 4 in 5 games will produce a goal in that, which is effectively a 45. It's like a half. There's a goal in that, and there's an 80% chance that there's going to be more goals if that other goal happens within that sort of time frame. So the goals could flow, and if you're going to play that, I certainly recommend that you probably look at it if there's a goal in that first 25 minutes. And finally, there's a 64% chance that the last goal of the match coming after 65 minutes. And we've looked at lots and lots of games in the profile of this sort of matchup. 1.56 or above, you need to be backing at that. I think the price in play will be a little bit higher than that come sort of 65 minutes. So again, you may be getting a little bit of value out of the market. Well, that's it from me. This is the lunchtime game, the first preview of the weekend. I look forward to speaking to you in all the previews of the big Premier League matches this weekend, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.